members and fans, welcome to our latest edition of the Bears Banter. So we've got a couple of current New South Wales Cup players. They are very experienced players. They're two of our three-man leadership group in Jerry Key and Tony Satini. These two guys have been around for a few years, and we're going to have a good chat. Firstly, about the Bears and their experiences this year, but then about their careers prior to coming to the Bears. Jerry spent a season with us in 2019, and Tony's in his first year with the Bears, and both these guys, as I say, have played with a few other clubs. So welcome, boys. Great to have you on board.
It's good to be here. Thanks, JT.
For having us. Oh, me.
Yeah, listen, the backdrop looks very similar. The blue sky looks like you're sitting right next to each other, and lo and behold, oh, there he is. Awesome. Hey, and what we love about that is that you guys are at the same field because you're about to do some training afterwards. So staying ready for when footy comes back in 2021. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this season so far. 13 or so games played, maybe a bye or two in there. And you guys have really featured heavily. Jerry, let's talk to you first. As I say, this is your second year with the Bears. You were with us in 2019, and then you ducked off to the Hills Bulls for a bit of extra cash, which is understandable. Any truth, Tone?
Very true.
Yeah. But you're back, and it's been great to have you back. Jerry, how have you enjoyed the season so far?
I've loved it. I think this year so far I've kind of exceeded my own expectations. Playing at Hills last year with the whole COVID layoff, and then having a young one, I came into preseason trying to lose my pregnancy weight. So, preseason was tough, and I didn't really expect to be in there right from the start. I thought I'd have to kind of go back to on Matthew, kind of find my feet and work my way back in. But I was just fortunate that I've been playing at this level for a while and just know how to get around. But other than that, I've really enjoyed it this year. I think this has been the best year I've had. Like, I've really enjoyed my footy.
Your fitness level's really improved as it's gone on. You've worked so hard. It's been great to see. Now, maybe some of that was to do with the experienced man that you brought along with you. You guys travelled to training for most of the season together, and lots of fun, lots of chats, and then plenty of hard training. How have you found it, Tone?
Oh, yeah. I've known Jerry for a little bit, so the extra ride was sweet. And hectic.
Yeah, sure is hectic. Sure is. Okay, now Jerry, let's you talk about your first baby. Let's talk about this because we are a family at the Bears, right? So you came to the Bears in 2019 and played that season. There was a lady by the name of Rosalind Craig who was our physio, and ultimately, that's the lady that's had a baby with you, and you guys are living happily ever after. It's the Bears are a very special place for you, Jerry.
Yeah, it's I would say as a whole, rugby league has kind of provided a lot for me in my life, but especially more so the last few years, especially because I'm like at that age now where you've got to start thinking about life after footy. And it just so happened that I found that person I want to share the rest of my life with here at footy. So,
okay, let's move on. Okay, so listen, you guys are the experienced guys, right? It's pretty cool when I look back and see the teams that you've played for and the histories that you have. Tony, talk us through the other teams, the opposition teams that you've played for. Where did you start? And which other teams have we seen you represent before this season?
I'm a Penrith junior, and then moved over to Manly, and then went back to Penrith, and then moved over to Mounties, and then had a little stint with Canberra, and then came back to Mounties, and then now here at the Red and Black, the Bears.
Wow, you got that right, did you? Are you sure you got that right?
Yeah, no, I think so. Been a minute.
Let's talk about some of the details of that. What about you played an NRL game with Manly? Who was that against? Where was that at?
That was at the Fortress, so Brookie, round 3, 2014, against Para.
Wow, 2014. How old were you then? Am I allowed to ask that question?
Yeah, nah, that's all good. I think I was 21 or 20, something like that.
Yeah, awesome. And you know what I love? And I know this for a fact, that you're still looking for another NRL appearance, and that's why you play so well every week. That's why, it's a pleasure to have you on board with the Bears. Now, Jerry, let's talk about your history other than the Bears, and let's talk about other than rugby league, right? There was a little bit of a stint in regards to some college football in the States. So we're talking NFL college football. How did that come about, and how did you go there?
Yeah, I played in New Zealand. And I was pretty lucky that, I kind of met some of the coaches, and I ended up playing for the national team, and played in Ohio on the Hall of Fame Stadium. So it's called Four Set Stadium, and it's where the NFL Hall of Fame is. And it was the very first Junior World Cup. So like it was good to be a part of history, and then obviously stayed on the school there, and then I played a year pro in Mexico City in 2010, and then moved back to New Zealand.
Wow, so you actually played there for a season?
Yeah, in Mexico. Yeah, I lived in Mexico City, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. It's cool when you see things from a tourist perspective. Like I was expecting like nice beaches and all the scenery that you probably think of when you think of Mexico, but I got the opposite. Kind of like you live there like a local. There's a lot of poverty, and it's an eye opener. So I think that's why I probably approach everything with a lot of gratitude now. How blessed I am just to be in a country like Australia and have the opportunities that I do have. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, awesome, mate. And we love the way you bring that attitude to training every day. You boys sweeping out the dressing room after every session. It's awesome to watch. Now let's talk about a little bit more about yourself, Tony. Now, 2017, you were playing for Penrith. Tell us a little bit about the first half of the grand final against the PNG Hunters that year. What did you get up to?
Just pushing up, support, and yeah, when you're there, they give you the ball and you just put it over the line. So yeah, grateful.
So how many times did you do that in the first half?
Four times.
Four. So 4 tries in 40 minutes. That's a pretty good effort in a grand final, right?
It's all right, eh?
He's trying to play it down. I haven't even scored 4 tries this season.
I've only scored 2.
We know you say. Listen, I did have a little brief look at your stats. You both played like 13 games. You both averaged over 100 metres each game. But yeah, the tries, there aren't a million tries. Jerry, you've made it over 350 tackles, so that's not bad. Tony, you might have made 3 tackles per game.
What about my missed tackles?
I think there's 5 per game.
Good ratio, that one.
Yeah, not bad. All right, now, Jerry, I would have spoken to your longtime friend and colleague who's worked with you a lot, Pat Wisner, before this chat. I said, Pat, is there anything? And he told me a story about when you were playing for Cabramatta, and he was on the coaching staff. And Jerry Key was in the not the Ron Massey, the Sydney Shield. Sorry, you were playing Sydney Shield, right? This day, and you played 6 minutes in Sydney Shield.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ron Massey team lost a player in the warm-up. So after 60 minutes in Sydney Shield, you said, I'll play, and you ran on the field and you played 80 minutes there.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, for Cabramatta. And then that night, that Cabramatta Leagues Club, they were putting on a boxing, a bit of a fight night where all the guys from the teams were going to go down and watch, and they had a pretty experienced fighter pull out. And so after playing 2 games of footy, the boxing coach asked you if you'd fight. You said yes. You turned up at the Leagues Club in your footy gear, and you proceeded to have a victory, a boxing match victory over New South Wales, one of New South Wales undefeated boxing gurus. Is this true, Jerry?
Coach, I beat his ass. Nah, that's true. Yeah. He probably failed to mention that I worked that morning too, before I went to the game, the first game.
What I love about you is that when I thought I was going to get you on here and check out this story, that I knew you wouldn't play it down. I knew you'd tell us the truth and even embellish it more than we already had, which is awesome. So you worked in the morning, you played 2 games of footy, and then you won a boxing fight, like what, hands down? How many rounds did it go? Did you knock him out?
3 rounds. 3 rounds, but it was in the second round, it was he had to do a standing 8 count twice, and then the third round they.
Not bad, double.
Yeah.
Do you think this is true, Tone?
Yeah. I've seen boxing gloves in his car just not too long ago. So yeah, I think so.
All right, Tone. What about you played a game for Tonga? You played a test match for Tonga. Who was that against?
Yeah, that was against the PNG boys.
How'd you go?
Yeah, they were tough, eh? Just honestly.
Where was it at? Where was that?
It was over in PNG, in Ley, so pretty bad side of town. So yeah, the field looks just like it's good back here.
Yeah.
Solid. So yeah, it wasn't safe.
Yeah, nice and firm. Hey, nice and firm.
Very.
Now, we talked at the start there just about Jerry and the fact that he's just got a little one ever so recently. Let's talk a little bit about you and your family, Tony, in all seriousness. How many kids do you have?
I've got 5 kids.
What ages?
The eldest is 9, and then the youngest is 1.
Right. So 5 kids from 1 to 9.
Yeah.
And then Jerry whinges about how he can't make training because he's got to look after kids. And I've never heard you say that once.
It happens.
Yeah. I suppose Jerry will probably, things do switch as more kids come along. Yeah. At the moment, Jerry's very keen to do that. It's very good, Jerry. It's great to see. Now, listen, how is the banter in the car on the way to training? Tone?
What?
Do you get a word in, Tone, or what?
Oh, yeah. We usually just get the jams going. Or if there's something happening at work, that gets tossed around in there. So, yeah.
All right. Now, the other thing I've got to ask about is we are doing some training sessions via Zoom, right? And you guys are doing your sessions together most days, which is awesome. But there have been some serious questions about your measuring of the field. All right. So the boys are pretty confident that when it's supposed to be 20 meters, you guys make it 15. When it's supposed to be 40 meters, you guys make it 30. When it's supposed to be 60 meters, you guys make it 50. Is that right? And is that why you're getting such good times?
Who's saying that?
Oh,
Do you want to know the truth?
Max Bailey.
That guy's late.
Max Bailey keeps whinging because he's finishing last and he hasn't worked out that he measures his own field out, so he should shorten it up a touch.
Now, we use the Doonside Roos footy field, so it's all the right measurements. If anything, we make our field a bit longer, but we'll give ourselves a carrot,
Maybe 2.
depending, how fast we finish the first one.
Yeah, but see, if you're gonna just fudge the numbers a bit, like don't do it too much, because even I know that you're fudging the numbers.
I'm gonna record my Bronco.
We've watched you guys train for the last 6 months, right? You've been away for a month and a bit, and you think that we're going to believe that you've all of a sudden gotten yourselves twice as fit as you were 4 or 5 weeks ago.
But see, now we're getting twice the rest because we're not playing every weekend.
It's a lack of you wouldn't think there'd be a lack of experience in this.
Nah.
But there is.
We got more caps between the two of us and the rest of the team.
All right, boys. Now, you got any questions for me? Anything you want to know?
Yeah. What's a salary cap like for next year?
Okay.
Asking for a mate.
So Jerry came to us for 1 year, Tony. He met his, future wife and his partner. They've had a baby. He moved on to the Hills Bulls. He realised the grass was greener, so he's come back. But what's he going to do again?
Same.
We'll see him back in 2023. All right, now
Surely I'll
listen.
be oldest on the comp by 10 years, 10.
I really do love the fact that you guys have turned up there with the boxing gloves and the mitts. Hey, Tony, you better watch out. Jerry can clearly box like none of us. So be careful, but it is awesome that you're going to train there this afternoon. And stay ready, boys. Stay ready.
Sweet as.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Great chat. Thanks, guys.
Up the Bears.
Up the Bears.
Awesome.